I'm not threatening you. Say one more word, and that's 30 days. 30 days.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Sovereign Citizens Hall of Fame with your man TP. Listen, guys, today we have done it again. We are on our 60-second compilation. But what I mean by we've done it again, we have done a compilation where it's just going to be featuring one judge, and that judge is Judge Jeffrey Middleton out of the state of Michigan. By me already saying his name, many of you already recognize his name because he is definitely a popular judge here on YouTube. And today in this compilation, I have 3 different proceedings with 3 different sovereign citizens that we've shown in the past before Judge Middleton. Now, because of a couple of these proceedings being multiple appearances, it made this compilation a little longer than normal. But best believe these were definitely some classic moments in Judge Middleton's courtroom. Listen, before we jump into this compilation, don't forget, no commentary at the end of this one. Chapters will be added just in case you want to jump around. And guys, I don't think there's nothing else left to be said. Oh, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. It will help us with the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube algorithm got a little funny with us in the last month. I don't know why, but it looks like we're getting back to normal. So keep up the good work, guys. And listen, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into Judge Middleton's courtroom.
He has 3 separate driving suspended charges that were scheduled for jury trial. File 21213ST alleges driving suspended second offense on January 31st, 2021 here in St. Joseph County. File 202073 alleges driving suspended on September 17th here in St. Joseph County. I think there may be a speeding charge with that. File 202653 also charges driving suspended second offense and forgery and speeding. All those matters were scheduled for jury trial today, November 10th. Mr. Morrow Bay wishes to represent himself on these matters. He has a perspective on the Michigan Motor Vehicle Code that disagrees with the state's version of it, but he didn't want an attorney and didn't wish to have representation. He wanted to represent himself in all of these matters. So we treated him like an attorney. We set the matter for a final pretrial to prepare for jury trial. And he didn't show up. So there are presently 3 arrest warrants for Mr. Morrow Bay's arrest for failing to appear for duly scheduled last pretrials about 3 weeks ago. We don't show up on the morning of trial with a basket full of papers and inconvenience 30 to 50 jurors who have to come in and hear your case and several witnesses without preparing for it. So we scheduled a pretrial conference and you didn't show up. So I've called off the jurors for today, and the prosecutor has called off all the witnesses. And there are currently 3 separate warrants for your arrest for failing to appear, but you're here now.
I think I was unaware.
We sent that to the address that you gave us, and if you're representing yourself, you need to act like you're representing yourself. We sent you duly notice to your Sage Street address in Kalamazoo, the same notice you got for this.
I don't live there anymore, and I can't represent myself. I am myself.
All right. Well, I'm not clairvoyant. I don't know that you moved. So, Mr. McNair, you're driving me crazy. I'm going to put you in the waiting room. You're walking all over the place and flashing the screen and giving me vertigo, and you're sideways and upside down. And So I'll be with you in a bit. Don't go away. Yes, that's your position. Then you're not doing a very good job of it because you didn't tell me where you lived. You didn't show up for a pretrial while we prepared for this. And now you come rolling in with a hat on the morning that your 30 or 40 jurors are supposed to be here. That's not a very good way to do business.
It's my religious headdress. I'm a Moorish American national.
Yes, I recall. All right.
Proven jurisdiction to begin with.
Ms. Davis is here.
I'm still waiting for jurisdiction.
On behalf of the prosecutor's office. Ms. Davis, you have any thought on this?
Your Honor, I would ask that he be held in contempt for failing to appear at the last pretrial. I would also ask that an order enter regarding discovery if all of these items that he's holding on to are intended to be used as exhibits at the trial. I would like to have copies of those so that we can be prepared. Also, I'd like to have our motion for joinder of the cases heard so we can settle that matter prior to choosing the jury and having another date set.
Right in the middle of my busy arraignment morning when I have 14 people waiting to be arraigned, that probably won't work out too good. But it's all on him. He didn't show up. He also got notice of your motion. Mr. Morrow Bay, do you have documents that you were going to present as part of your defense?
I mean, I mailed in documents and I never got a response.
Well, did you have some? Do you have some you wish to present?
Well, I mailed in an affidavit to you more than once, and this is also my legal notice for my lawful name change, because I put it on the record that I'm a Moorish American national and I'm not an American or a U.S. citizen. Excuse me. I'm a man of the land. I'm native to the land. So, so a lot of these rules that that the state of Michigan is creating is not applicable to me, unfortunately. And I was trying to be respectful to the court and let the court know since the beginning in a respectful manner. And I have lots of documentation to prove it.
All right. I want you to take Mr. Purdue into custody. Okay. We're going to execute the 3 bench warrants that are currently out for his arrest for contempt. We'll take him to jail and we'll make an arrangement later to discuss.
Are you arresting me right now?
Wow. I don't have time to do it now. Thank you. Bye. Mr. Purdue, you're going to jail, the St. Joe County Jail here in St. Joe County, and I'm going to hold on to you in lieu of 3 $1,000 bonds till we can review your contempt and the other things we need to deal with. But if you're going to represent yourself, you need to do it right. You need to show up when you're supposed to show up. You need to follow the rules of evidence and procedure. You don't just come in and say, I'm my own country, I'm going to do what I want. So you're going to jail.
I was unaware.
The bond is $1,000 per file, and I will talk with you later. So right now you're going to the St. Joe County Jail. All right, we'll deal with him, Deborah, when we have more time. But he's clearly in contempt. And he is his own person. So he representing himself, he is himself. We'll see if we can sort that out. Good morning, sir. Are you Dusty Melvin Hicks?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hicks, I'm Judge Middleton. I think we've met. You're here on 2 trespass charges. Let's take a look at these. We just had a lady that was here on 2 different trespasses. You got a ticket on April 20th for trespass. Let's take a look at that one. That is the Goodwill store in 3 Rivers. I think you've been trespassed from that whole plaza. You didn't show up. I did a bench warrant with a hold. Let's see how long you've been in jail. 17 days. You also have a felony case pending. Mr. Tim George is the city attorney for 3 Rivers. Mr. George?
I had a felony with him this morning. You mind if I sit up?
No, certainly.
I think there may be some.
All right, well, let me get his other case. Then he has another trespass, which is 24371. And then he has a felony resisting obstructing. Mr. John Bush has been appointed to represent you on the resisting obstructing case. And then we have these trespass cases, and I just lost Mr. George. Mr. Bush, what's the status here as far as you know?
He's in jail right now. There's a misdemeanor offer on the resisting and obstructing case. I have concerns about his competency based upon my discussions with him. I don't know if the forensic center has the appropriate direction to go at this point.
Well, let's talk a little bit.
No, and Judge, I was just checking to make sure that you had the pretrial paperwork.
Yeah, I do. Your thanks, Tim. 24663 OM and 24670. All right, we've got a dilemma here. Mr. George, absent any other issues, would you dismiss 2 trespasses for a plea to 1?
They're all the same place, Your Honor. They're all 3 at that strip mall. But I will just say that we did have an initial pretrial last week. I had some of those same concerns. I knew that he had this felony case today with Mr. Bush, so that's why I asked for the pretrial to be today.
Mr. Hicks, you're here. You've been in jail for 17 days. You keep going over to the Goodwill store, and you're going over there, and they told you not to come back. Then it ended up, you got into a scuffle with the police, and you got charged with resisting obstructing. Where have you been staying?
I was staying around the Goodwill area at that time. Goodwill themselves seem to be okay with me there. Dollar General does. They all seem fine. They keep asking why the police are bothering me. They say they don't call the police. From my family and the relations to Goodwill, the family of Goodwill and the Dollar General, and the history of my name and how Dusty, I should have a right of being able to be around the Dollar General and Goodwill for over 100 and some feet, which means I wouldn't be trespassing.
Where do you actually stay?
I'm waiting for Keystone.
But I mean, right now, are you staying in the field behind Goodwill?
It would be off to the side of it, yeah.
All right, that's what they don't like.
I off to the concrete, not the field.
But it's not your field.
No, I don't know. TSC and me have agreements for them mowing the grass there and up to the fence line there. And the sidewalk was laid by me when I was a child, but means the sidewalk is separately owned than the empty building they said I was trespassing at. It's not same affiliated as the building. There's a stamp on the ground. I do have a picture of it on my phone, but it states that I do own the sidewalk. And also the parkway there gives me rights to stay there as well for my heritage rights. And the fence used to be 5 to 6 inches from the building, not the fence that's in the field. So anywhere from that 5 inches or 6 inches from the building back to some apartments is considered property of heritage of Dusty.
Property of what?
In the heritage of Dusty Hicks.
Okay.
Which states on a lot of the buildings.
Where are you from originally, Mr. Hicks?
3 Rivers, Michigan.
Who are your folks?
Terry L. Hicks and Carol L. Hicks.
Did you go to 3 Rivers High School?
Yes, sir.
What was your graduation year?
95.
Well, then it says you resisted, obstructed a couple of 3 Rivers police officers. What is the misdemeanor offer?
Attempted RMO.
What have you done since you got out of high school?
Employment, raised a family.
Doing what kind of stuff?
Construction down there in Middlebury.
Okay. Well, here's the dilemma we're in, Mr. Hicks. You've got 3 trespasses. You're staying on property that isn't yours. There's no such thing as the heritage of Dusty Hicks that would allow you to have some ownership of this. They don't want homeless people camping behind these strip mall, so the city keeps citing you for this.
They said I
All
could.
right, so the city attorney has offered to dismiss 2 of the trespass counts if you plead to 1, in which case I would give you 17 days in jail, credit 17 days. The other charge is a felony, punishable by up to 2 years imprisonment, 2 counts. Prosecutors agreed to dismiss both of those counts for a plea to attempted to resist or obstruct a police officer, which really isn't that hard to do. My concern, if we send you to the forensic center for a psychological evaluation, you're going to be in jail for months. It'll be October before we get the result back. So I can't tell. You seem intelligent. You understand everything I'm saying. You're clearly answering my questions. Been in jail for 17 days. You're not under the influence of any drugs or alcohol. Do you take any prescription medication?
There's no reason to.
All right. So do you understand everything I'm saying?
We're having a conversation.
Okay. Well, the difference is if you plead to these charges, I can let you out of jail. If you don't, we're going to set some further proceedings and you could be here for a while. So let's start with the trespass charges. Do you acknowledge that the city of Three Rivers had told you not to be on those properties?
The police had, but they never showed me or the owner was never there to state that he called, that there was.
All right.
I don't know if it was a real phone call or not. That's
all right. So
someone could be just mad at me because they steal things from me down there.
The problem is if I let you out of jail, you're going to go right back there.
Well, I don't want to go right back there, but I do my grocery shopping there.
Very good.
No, I'm going to Keystone as soon. I mean, if I,
All right. So are you willing to admit to one of the trespass charges?
Your Honor.
Ms. Jackson?
Just for the record, attorneys to my left, Mr. Bush and Mr. George, have more information than I do. But for the record, given even the balance of what you were discussing, I do believe he should have some kind of assessment before he enters any plea.
Well, we're not going to do a forensic evaluation on 3 trespasses. We may do a forensic evaluation on the resisting and obstructing.
And I realize he has these other felonies, and so perhaps that would be the basis for that. And I realize the trespass is stretching it, but because he has that felony, he does have that option. And so I'm putting that on the record that I think he should have that option before any plea is entered on any of these cases.
Does that mean like counseling?
Well,
Counseling?
Yeah.
I've had counseling.
Well,
we're talking about
but 3 times in my life.
Well, all right,
So
Ms.
They said I'm
Jackson,
fine.
Okay.
are you concurring with their proposal that we get a forensic evaluation?
No, I've
No,
had,
just a minute, Mr. Hicks.
oh,
Yes, Your Honor. And well, whatever the, I'm not sure where the other cases are presently because I wasn't a party to it, but it sounds like that there was contemplation of asking for that or going in that direction on the felony case. So if that's the case, it would apply to, at this point to the misdemeanor, even though eventually maybe these will be outright dismissed. I don't know, but if he's not competent for the felony, he's certainly not competent for the misdemeanor plea.
I would, all right.
Is there a way, excuse me, I completely agree that it's going to take months. That's why I didn't actually make that. I raised it as a concern. Is there a way to be looked at at pivotal and maybe get an update or whatever? We can move forward with that.
Well, we'll leave it on for prelim and see if we can get Lisa or somebody to deal with them. So I'll leave a felony R&O case set for prelim for July 2nd. Well, yeah, that doesn't happen magically. Perhaps as his defense attorney, you could contact Pivotal and say,
I understand they're really behind, so I don't mind trying. I think Lisa has a better chance, but I would contact
yes, I
Lisa.
would start with Lisa also. Mr. Hicks,
yes, sir.
issues here. If you're sent to the forensic center for a psychiatric evaluation as to your competence has to do with what is your state of mind now? Do you understand the nature of the proceedings? Are you able to assist in your defense? I've been having a nice conversation with you. You're polite, you're respectful, you understand everything. but you may have some baseline delusions that you own this property and you're causing a recurring problem in Three Rivers. But if I do that, you're going to be in jail for months. There may be some middle ground short of doing that. Plus, that's a very valuable resource, and there isn't enough of it to go to explore some mental health intervention here and continue all of these.
I've already been to counseling before.
Yes.
You know, apparently I didn't need them. I'm here, you know, I mean, not here, but.
Well, you're living on the street. You're estranged from your family.
Well, my parents have passed on. I
Okay.
don't get along well with my brother. My grandma's, she in the old folks home with my uncle,
Who's your brother?
Buck Hicks,
Okay.
Willard, Virginia King, and my grandparents. But they're all dying. You know, they're getting old.
Well, Buck Hicks is old.
He's getting old. He's 7 years older than me.
I remember years ago, I dealt with him on an issue. All right, 1:00. Mr. George, you don't need to be back because you've made a plea offer of one count.
Yes, sir.
One count of trespass. All right, Mr. Hicks, we're going to work on this. Probably someone from Lisa is going to, named Lisa, is going to be contacting you at the jail and see what our options are. All right, thank you. You're good to go. Thank you all.
My Miranda rights haven't been read to me yet. Does that state any or mean anything?
No, people sometimes have the mistaken belief that you have to be advised of your Miranda rights. They only have to advise you of your Miranda rights if they want to ask you anything.
Okay.
And if they do, and they want to use your statements against you, but there's no so all-encompassing, you have to be charged with your Miranda rights before you can be charged with something. All right, you go with the court officer. We'll work on the other stuff. All right, Mr. Hicks, you're good to go. We have returned to the preliminary examination and other matters on Dusty Hicks. Mr. Hicks is here with his lawyer, Mr. John Bush. He is in custody. He's charged in file 24998 with 2 counts of resisting and obstructing a police officer as a habitual offender. He also has 6 trespass or disorderly person charges from the city of Three Rivers. We were here on the 24th. I brought the wrong files. Brought tomorrow's files. Laura, would you bring me the Dusty Hicks file? It's in my top tray for this afternoon. At the hearing, Mr. Hicks and I had quite a discussion. The offer was a misdemeanor, dismissed the other misdemeanors. He's now been in jail for 24 days. Or somebody was. I guess I took it upon myself to contact Lisa Inatelli at the jail. And she is our mental health liaison. And I wrote an email and I CC'd it to Tim George, Jeanette Jackson, David Marvin, John Bush, and it was to Lisa, but I never actually sent it. I found it in my drafts this morning. So, Mr. Hicks, I had asked, I found it this afternoon, to have Lisa from the jail meet with you. You've been in jail now for 24 days. We have all of these trespass charges that have been filed against you, and they want to keep you out of that plaza. The resisting obstructing charge allegedly occurred on June 8th. The trespasses start in January. There's a disorderly person in file 24153 from January 23rd. There's a trespass in file 24619 from April 14th. There's a trespass in 24371 from February 8th. There is a trespass in file 24569 from April 8th. There is another trespass, 24663 from April 20th. And then there's a trespass from April 23rd, and the closest one is June. As I indicated, the city would take a plea to one, dismiss all of the others, and time served 24 days. The problematic case, and the bigger one, is the felony case. where the city offered to, or the county prosecutor offered to reduce it to attempted resisting obstructing a police officer. The problem is you believe that somehow you have ownership or some property interest in a parcel of parking lot there in that plaza. Mr. Hicks, have you given this some thought since I talked to you last week?
I didn't know I assaulted any police officer.
Well, it's resisting, let's see specifically, which is different than assaulting.
Now, I don't know how to be charged with that.
Yes, that's why this was.
No, the thought is through my family heritage, and a lot of my family owned a lot of property in the area. There's some of the rights for me to be in the area when they had built these places and moved in, like Dollar General and Goodwill, stated I had the right to be around there over 100 or 200 feet around the building. I was in an empty area of that building, so I wasn't bothering anyone. And no one came and told me that I was trespassing. The police just show up and say I am.
Well,
I don't know if anyone.
That's not true.
They keep asking me when I
well,
go to
the owner keeps calling and saying, please get this guy out of here.
from California.
I'm not sure where he
He
is.
said he lives in California because I asked why wasn't he down there, or I thought I asked, may not have, but I thought he had to be there just like anybody else to witness that I was the trespasser or I get to see them.
No, he doesn't. Anyway, there
So I
was.
feel I was being a little bit by the police. It's the same police most of the time, but
Well, it's the same shift. So we're at
That
the
makes
same point we were at.
yeah, no, I wasn't. It's just the tribal and the thing in the center, that park, that's affiliated with my bloodline and my family. That's another reason why I would be allowed to be down there. The history of the 7 tribes. It's just like the 3 chiefs of Three Rivers or Princess Mishawaka. You know, she was born here in Three Rivers, so you know it's all heritage, and I'm part of that heritage. So I don't see how I was trespassing. And the symbols on my hand match the pavement. The symbols are dusty. The noble bird, no, it's even in the cell I'm sitting in, the electrical wires,
Your Honor, I don't know if it's a benefit.
Yeah, I don't
to keep
know.
talking.
We're at the same loggerheads we were. I don't think we have any choice. I'm going to refer Mr. Hicks for competency evaluation.
excuse.
I'm going to send you
May I
to the
ask why?
forensic center because you have a delusional belief that somehow you have some tribal interest in this property and you continue to go back to it and you continue to be
Well,
arrested.
you asked me why.
Well,
Didn't I
I
answer
believe
why?
you're telling me.
You're right, but you was asking me that.
Well, I did, and so I'm not mad at you.
Oh, I just thought saying you're like a
No,
priest
but
or
I
something.
don't. Yes,
I'm part of the Indian.
I think even if you were full-blooded Indian, I'm not sure that you have a claim to ownership of this property. And
Well,
you and I
there
just
is
can't.
paperwork somewhere about the sidewalk. Like the symbol is on the sidewalk. I took pictures, but it's in my backpack.
Paperwork somewhere in some alternate universe. The problem is in this case, the police came and they ended up having a big struggle. And you were quite agitated, whether you remembered or not. It was a struggle there in the parking lot, and there were pepper spray and 2 pairs of handcuffs, and you were quite agitated when you got to the jail. And no matter how many times me or the police or someone tells you you can't go back there, you continue to believe that you can go back there. So the question is, are you competent to assist your counsel in defending your case? And are you able to understand the nature of the proceedings against you? I think you understand the charges, but I think you have a delusion that you have a defense. We have a man in Three Rivers, he's not here anymore, but he had what mental health called a baseline delusion that he owned all of the Shell stations. He did not. And he kept going into the Shell stations and pouring himself a cup of coffee and ordering the staff around. And he got arrested about 42 times, literally. When he was on his medication, he did much better. I don't really want to do this, but I don't think I have a choice. We were concerned about how long this would take, but we can't ignore the pink elephant in the room that we're looking at a mental health issue. So I'm still going to ask Lisa Iantelli to meet with you, but I'm going to sign an order for a competency evaluation. Mr. O'Bear, the people concur?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Bush?
I think it's necessary. I mean, I've had that concern.
Do this to June 17th.
Excuse me, you said June,
September, excuse me.
September 17th?
Can be faster. After Lisa meets with him, perhaps we could address a bond issue. But at this point, I'm not confident that if I let him out, he isn't going to go right back to where he was.
I'd like to be out so I can get a job. I mean, if there's gonna be a fine somewhere, I gotta pay it somehow. Otherwise, sitting in there anyway, so the $15, $30 a day that they're gonna screw me over with later anyhow, like they did my license.
I don't think you're gonna be able to pay that, but I understand.
You know, I gotta do something with myself. Sitting in there ain't gonna do nothing.
Yes.
Brick walls, same TV show all day long.
What show do they watch?
Well, I like the History Channel, but it's auctions and whatever that making metal. The name of that is. I'm more into the superheroes and G.I. Joe shows.
Excuse me, what time of day did you say?
That would be 8:30. It can be accelerated. Court will execute a petition for competency evaluation.
So is that for 8:30 or 1 on that?
8:30.
Thank you.
The prelim would be the following week, which would be September 24th. All right. Miss Lisa from the jail is going to come meet with you. You're always polite, respectful, cordial. We just have a fundamental disagreement on your ownership of this property.
He did share with me today that if he was released, he would probably go to Keystone and ask for housing assistance.
All right. We'll hear what Lisa has to say. All right, Mr.
How long
Hicks.
would that be if she does, if I can get to Keystone? Because by September, they're not going to want to put me in there. I mean, maybe if they ain't said like the last time that they spent money. I mean, I was just about having employment where we were before I got over here, but you know, they ain't going to do me no good in here.
All right. Well, keep you safe. Keep the public safe.
Not a threat. I didn't run.
Well, you're right. Although there was a fight here with the police that I don't want to minimize.
I felt like that, you know, I sat down like I stated. I didn't throw it.
Don't tell me any more about it, Mr. Hicks, but we need to try to get to the source of this. All right, you're good to go with the officer.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, sir.
We tried to finesse it, but I don't think there's any finesse. I think he needs an evaluation. All right, we'll see what Lisa's got for us. Thank you both.
I believe he's sincere in his belief. I'm obviously not factually based, but
Well, he said to me, you asked me, and he's right, I did. But we're not getting anywhere. And we could have a prelim and present probable cause evidence, but the same problem would exist in circuit court. And then you'd have a competency evaluation. So we might as well bite the bullet, and I'll do the order here forthwith. Thank you.
all right. I guess my concern is like yours is whatever day you let him out, I suspect he's going to go right back there.
Say that again.
Well, I don't intend on pleading.
Okay. That's fine. That's your absolute right. Okay. You're entitled to have a prelim on the felony case. The misdemeanor in driving just goes with it.
Such as I do not acquiesce jurisdiction.
All right. Acquiesce is what you mean.
There we go, but you know what it means. There we go.
I know what it means, but you don't. We've
Well,
got
I
a
know
borough
I
grove.
can't pronounce it, but I do know what it means.
Well, it means you don't accept jurisdiction, and you can challenge that when you're sitting in the St. Joe County Jail saying, hey, I own jurisdiction. At any rate, you are correct. You don't have to plead to anything. And if you want a preliminary examination, we'll set it for next week.
Thank you.
And whoever's feeding you this gobbledygook is not a favor.
It's not gobbledygook because you know what it is and I know what it is.
So, all right, sir, we'll set this for prelim.
The other reason why they took action on your license was because of that notice of suspension.
So the officer asked for a suspension to the
So,
DMV.
but you do have a right to file in circuit court and get it restricted.
I'll just give me a show for it.
Had a race with a sheep.
How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
So you're admitting that you're racing.
So one of the reasons for the affidavit and the search warrant is the vehicle was initially observed traveling 60 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone.
Observe me for them to visually see. That could be inaccurate.
I observed a high rate of speed after
All
pulling
right.
behind the vehicle. I activated my forward-facing radar and moving mode, same direction, and the screen displayed a speed of 60 miles per hour. And he was accompanied by an audible tone consistent with the speed displayed. The vehicle was on 35-mile-an-hour zone at the time. The white Chevy Malibu then turned east on Hopkins Street, and I attempted to catch up. Once again, activated my radar, which showed a speed of 64 miles per hour, and was accompanied by an audible tone consistent with the speed.
And that's whose word? The officer's word? That's mine. I take my chance. And I know what the video was showing. And I would also, if you could talk to the judge and see, I would like to send that blood work to my own physician. That is in my rights. So I have verified, but I do not believe I was under 0.251. Thank you.
We have a little time. It's early in the day. Do you want me to come with you and play the video for him?
Would you like to watch the video?
Oh, no. No, thank you.
Why don't we watch it a little bit, some of it?
I don't think any of it, let's turn the record on. He's got to change his mind, and if he wants to believe something he read on the back of a cereal box, and this matter transferred to circuit court as a felony, that makes much less aggravation for me, and Judge Stutzman can deal with it. Let's call the case. This is file 24300FY, People versus Gregory Custgard. Mr. Custgard is here with his lawyer, Rhonda Ives. We were here last week for a preliminary examination conference. Allegation is that the defendant was in the city of Three Rivers on February 19th. He was stopped for motor vehicle violations, charged with operating while intoxicated. That's a misdemeanor. He's also charged with resisting and obstructing Officer Michael Kendall from the Three Rivers Police Department, who's present here today, in the course of his arrest and processing in this case, including conduct at the Three Rivers Hospital. Ms. Halleck is here in her role as an assistant prosecuting attorney, and your lawyer, Rhonda Ives, is here. My understanding, Ms. Halleck, is the offer was plead to operating while intoxicated, not even high BAC.
No, it was actually an impaired, Your Honor.
That was offer impaired.
And one attempt resisting obstructing.
Oh, that's right. Well, let's go through that again. Impaired driving is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $300. Carries 4 points, and it causes your driver's license to be suspended. Has the blood alcohol level come back?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
And what is it?
I didn't even look. I just got notice today that it was in, but I didn't look because I don't need that. You have it. Came back at a 0.251, Your Honor.
Well, that's well over the impaired limit. All right, that's one option for you, Mr. Custgard. The other option is to have a preliminary examination here today. And we talked about this last week. You're absolutely entitled to a preliminary examination. Well, let me explain again what that is. You're not going to be found guilty or not guilty at this hearing. It's a hearing just to determine whether there's probable cause to believe that a crime was committed and probable cause that you did it. And it's only on the felony charge of resisting and obstructing. The misdemeanor charge will automatically get bound over with the felony, the drinking driving charge. And the whole thing would be sent to circuit court for further proceedings, trial or otherwise, in circuit court. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
All right. And so there needs to be found here is simply probable cause that you resisted or obstructed Officer Kendall. Do you understand?
Correct.
All right. And as I think you're in the same position you were last week, you wish to have your preliminary examination here today.
Correct.
All right. In which case the prosecutor will revoke the plea offer.
No, Your Honor. We'll keep it open.
Even after the prelim? Well, that's up to you guys. I guess I won't Then if I was him, I'd have a prelim too. All right. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
Rhonda, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, well, let's take our testimony and see what we got. Ms. Halleck?
Thank you, Your Honor. Who would call Officer Kendall?
Good afternoon, sir. You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give here will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do, sir.
Thank you. Please have a seat and state your name and spell your first and last name for the recorder.
Officer Michael Kandolf. It's Kandolf.
All right, Ms. Halleck?
Officer Kendall, where are you employed?
3 Rivers Police Department, ma'am.
And how long have you worked there?
Just over 3 years, ma'am.
Oh, and on February 19th of this year, did you have the occasion to have contact with, I guess, was there an incident involving the defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the defendant, do you had contact with him before?
Once prior to this, ma'am.
Okay, and Mr. His name, I was thinking of his first name. Do you know his?
Custgard.
And what is his first name?
Gregory, ma'am.
Gregory, thank you. And Mr. Custgard, is he in the courtroom today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and can you describe him for the court?
He is a African-American male wearing Columbia jacket, khakis, and Nike shoes, sir.
We would just ask the rec. Thank you. We would
I have that same jacket. Yours is bigger than mine.
just ask the record to reflect that the officer identified the defendant.
It may.
And on February 19th of this year, did you have an occasion to come in with the defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what happened on that date?
I observed a car traveling southbound on North Main, traveling at what I perceived to be a high rate of speed. I pulled up behind the vehicle and clocked it using moving radar at 60 miles an hour and a 35. I tried to catch up to the vehicle and it turned eastbound on Hoffman. And as I turned the corner, it was the only vehicle around and I hit it with the radar again. And now it was going 64 and a 25. The vehicle came to a stop at Portage and Hoffman, where I lit it up with my emergency lights and put the spotlight directly on the driver.
Okay. And at what point in time did you at some point turn on an audible signal?
After it proceeded through the intersection. It was going to be stopped, and as I was about to open my door, it proceeded through the intersection.
Okay. And so then you proceeded to follow the vehicle, and did the vehicle at some point come to a stop?
Well, did you turn your siren on?
After it went through the intersection at Portage, sir.
What time of day or night was this?
I believe it was just past 10 o'clock at night, 2200. I did not review that again.
All right, but it was dark out?
Yes, sir, it was dark.
Okay.
Okay. And you did mention also that you had shined your light on the defendant. Did you make contact with him at that point, eye contact of any type?
I saw him look in his rearview mirror. However, I did not make direct contact with him.
Okay. And after the intersection, when you turned on the sirens, the audible signal, how long until after that, until he stopped?
He went to the intersection at Hoffman and Jefferson, which is M60. He continued, after he made a full stop, he continued eastbound on M60 to Lockport, where he turned up into Lockport, which is the apartment complex. He continued to go all the way back around the apartments until he came to a stop in 2 parking spots right in front of an apartment.
Okay. And after that first stop at that first intersection, you turned on you then had your lights on and your audible signal on.
Yes, ma'am.
And he failed to stop.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Once the vehicle did stop, can you explain what happened at that point?
I approached the vehicle and ordered him to show me his hands. He continued to fidget with his phone, trying to call somebody. He was smoking a cigarette at the time. He was ignoring my orders to show me his hands, and I ordered him out of the vehicle, which he had the doors locked and the window up, and he refused to get out of the vehicle.
Okay. How many times did you have to request, or do you recall how many times you asked or ordered
Multiples. I don't recall how many times exactly.
Okay, that you ordered him to get out of the vehicle?
Multiple times, ma'am.
Okay. And when he failed to follow your commands, what happened then?
He eventually rolled his window down slightly and said something I didn't understand. I was able to reach through, unlock the door, open it up, and I had to take his seatbelt off and then remove him from the vehicle.
Okay. And once he was removed from the vehicle, was it still only you at the scene?
It was me up until I believe Officer Chittister got there just as I was escorting him back to my car.
Okay. Did the defendant offer any explanation to you as to why he did not stop?
No, ma'am.
And did the defendant make any statements or admissions with regard to resisting?
I don't recall him making any statements about resisting, ma'am.
Okay. With regard to, I guess, his demeanor, his behavior, when he exited his vehicle, what did you observe?
I smelled the odor of intoxicants, and when he was still in the vehicle and looked at me, I could see redness in the eyes, watery eyes, indicating that he may be intoxicated. And at the time, he was making statements while being escorted back to my vehicle. He was making statements about this was his first DUI.
I have no further questions.
Are you going to ask questions about what happened at the hospital, or the R&O is simply going to be?
No, Your Honor, I'm not. It's just the R&O is simply going to be the vehicle. I had that discussion with Mr. Marvin after reviewing video and.
All right. Ms. Ives?
Thank you. Where did you go to police academy?
Kellogg Community College up in Battle Creek, ma'am.
And that's where you graduated from police academy from?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have any specified or specific training in DUI cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you identify what those are?
SFSTs, which is taught by.
I guess I would object, Your Honor. We're not here on the drinking and driving case. The impaired is a misdemeanor. I've only presented evidence today as far as what would apply to the officers, the charge of resisting restraint. It's not relevant.
All right. What's your response?
Well, Your Honor, I believe it goes to the probable cause of the actual arrest and as we get to why he pulled him out of the car. So I think we need to know his training as a preliminary starting point before I can ask him regarding his rationale for demanding that he get out of the car in the first place.
The stop, Your Honor, was for a speeding violation, had nothing to do with any type of impaired driving at that point in time.
Well, that's high speed at two neighborhood districts. North Main at that point is all houses, and Hoffman Street all the way along there. 65 and 25 on Hoffman Street drives right at Mr. Robert's house. Maybe he wouldn't like that. Anyway, I'll allow the questions. It goes to her attempt to question his reason for the stop. And the reason for the stop results in the resisting. So the objection has some merit, but I'll allow the questions.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Again, if you could identify your specialized training in DUI areas.
I have training in SFSTs through the academy, just as all officers that I'm aware of do. And you're certified in how to perform SFSTs, and those tests are scientifically proven to show that. And then the rest of the process is generally accepted as you go through the paperwork after you've established your probable cause for it.
And you said you were certified in SFTs. What year was that?
2020, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
2020, ma'am.
2020. And since you graduated, or what year did you graduate from police academy?
2020, ma'am.
And since you got out of police academy, do you have any other specialized training in DUI cases?
Nothing further than that, ma'am, no.
Okay. What direction were you facing when you first observed Mr. Custgard's car?
I was facing eastbound.
And which direction was he going?
He was traveling southbound.
And were you at an intersection or in a parking lot, or where were you? And were you stationary or what were you doing in the parking lot?
I was stationary watching North Main.
And which direction was the defendant going when you first noticed his vehicle?
Southbound.
And what initially struck you about his vehicle when you saw it?
It appeared to be traveling at a high rate of speed compared to all vehicle traffic that I've ever seen on North Main.
Did you see him pass anyone?
He didn't pass anyone, no ma'am. There was no other cars at the time.
Were you able to identify, or did he actually pass you when he went in front of you? Were you able to identify the rate of speed that he was going when he passed you?
Not at that exact moment, no ma'am.
When you pulled behind him, did you notice that there was any weaving in his lane or any traffic violations?
Other than the speed, no ma'am.
How long were you following him before you were able to capture a speed detection in your car?
Was only a few seconds after I pulled out, ma'am. I had to get the radar into the forward facing mode in the same direction, which is only 2 button pushes on the remote, ma'am.
And what kind of radar or speed detection unit do you use in your car?
I don't know the exact brand, ma'am. Not off the top of my head. I would have to look at that again.
Is there more than one?
We only use one type of radar at the department. I don't think we have any different units in the department.
And how often do you calibrate that speed detection device?
We're not certified to calibrate. We can test it to make sure that the instrument is working to the standard at the beginning of the shift, but we don't calibrate it ourselves. That has to be a technician from the company.
And how often per policy are you supposed to calibrate it?
I'm not aware of that, ma'am.
How often do you,
Now, this isn't relevant. This goes to a speeding ticket, and he didn't get a speeding ticket.
when you initially clocked him on your radar, what did you indicate? What speed was he going?
He was doing 60 is what the radar unit displayed, ma'am.
And was that before you turned on your signal?
Yes, ma'am. That was before I activated lights or signal.
And what was the primary reason that you activated your signal? Or
Because of speeding.
And then at that point, that's when you said you went through the intersection?
Yes, ma'am.
And what intersection was that?
No, you've missed a turn. They turned off North Main Street westbound on Hoffman Street,
I apologize.
or eastbound on Hoffman Street.
So you turned eastbound on Hoffman Street
Yes, ma'am.
at that point. And to clarify, before you entered onto the roadway following Mr. Custgard's car, what parking lot were you in?
I was at Berkshire Hathaway.
And then when you turned eastbound, how far of a distance do you believe you were following Mr. Custgard's vehicle before you turned on your signal?
I believe I made it to, I was trying to get closer before activating my light. I believe I made it almost to Oak Street before I'm sorry, not Oak Pine.
Okay. And then there was a point in time that you went through an intersection
Yes, ma'am.
and you thought at some point he was going to pull over.
I believed he had stopped at the stop sign on Hoffman and Portage. I believed he was going to be stopped there because I had pulled up behind him with the lights, put the spotlight on him, and I saw him look in his rearview mirror. So I believed he was just stopped. Some people sometimes don't know where to pull off or if they need to pull off or just stop where they already are. So I assumed he was just stopped. So I went to open my door and he continued through the intersection.
At that point, had he made a proper stop at the stop sign?
Yes, ma'am.
Had he been weaving in his lane at all up to that point?
Not that I'd observed.
And then, and your lights were fully engaged when you were at the stop sign?
Yes, ma'am.
And then he went through and then you continued to engage him and follow him after that?
Yes, ma'am.
And then, does he accelerate in speed again? And
He was doing approximately 30 miles an hour from the stop sign to the next stop.
so there wasn't any more high rates of speed?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And how far from that point, from when he came to the stop sign until he finally stopped?
I haven't measured the distance, but I believe it would be about a half a mile, ma'am.
But he did stop.
Eventually, yes.
Did he pull into a parking place properly?
He was just over the line, but he pulled into a parking lot. Yes, ma'am.
Well, we're not done yet. He stopped at the intersection of Jefferson, which is M60. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
And then he continued eastbound, maybe another quarter of a mile to the Riverside Townhouse parking area.
Yes, sir.
Which entrance did he go into?
The Lockport side, sir. So the first drive. on the west side.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
At any point in time, did you see Mr. Custgard's hazard lights on his vehicle?
I don't recall that, ma'am.
How many officers on scene arrived?
Total, there were 3 of us, ma'am.
And who were the other officers on scene?
It was Officer Chittister and Sergeant Britton.
And who arrived on scene first?
Officer Chittister is on FTO and Sergeant Britton was his FTO at the time.
So they came
arrived at the same time in the same car.
in
Why
sync.
don't you explain what FTO stands for?
Field training officer, ma'am.
When you approached Mr. Custgard's vehicle, why did you demand that he get out of the vehicle at that point in time?
Because he refused to stop, which is an indicator that something is wrong.
And in your training experience, typically you would walk up to a vehicle and ask for a license, registration, proof of
If they come to
insurance.
a stop, as most people do when you're pulling them over, yes, ma'am.
But in this case, you did not do that.
No, ma'am.
You just demanded that he get out of the car, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have any conversations with him at all when you were demanding that he get out of the car?
I was ordering him out of the vehicle and he was doing something on his phone and ignoring me.
Was there physical resistance when you were attempting to retrieve him out of the vehicle?
He didn't pull against me, but he did not help himself get out of the vehicle.
Is it true that Mr. Custgard started to come out of the vehicle when you first pulled him out of the vehicle, what was the first sign of intoxication that you noticed? Or what were the signs of intoxication?
Once I pulled him from the vehicle, the first sign was the odor of intoxicants, ma'am.
Were there any other signs?
While he was making his statements, he said that this was his first DUI. And while he was making those statements, his speech seemed difficult and slurred.
Now, as you were trying to coax or remove him from the car, Mr. Custgard was able to get out of the car without falling.
He was being assisted out, ma'am.
But he didn't fall as he got out of the car.
No, ma'am.
He didn't stumble.
Not that I recall, no, ma'am.
At that point, he was able to have a conversation with you.
I wouldn't consider it a conversation, ma'am.
What do you consider it?
He was making statements.
Was he making statements in answer to your questions?
At that time, I wasn't asking questions, ma'am.
You didn't ask any questions when he got out of the vehicle?
Not while escorting him from his vehicle to the front of my vehicle. I don't recall making any questions towards him, ma'am.
And he was able to walk without stumbling, tripping, or
He was
falling?
being escorted by 2 officers at that point who were holding him by his arms.
Who was the other officer escorting him?
Officer Chittister.
At that point, did you ask him to do any field sobriety testing?
No, ma'am.
Did you give him the opportunity to do any field sobriety testing?
No, ma'am.
And why is that?
Because he kept resisting us. He would not let go of his phone. He would not provide his arms. He would not give us the ability to handcuff him safely. So he had to be placed in handcuffs immediately.
Do you recall a time when his phone dropped?
Your Honor, I would object to this line of questioning. This
I'm not
exceeds-
sure why, because she just elicited more
I
resistant
know,
instructing
but
on
this
his part.
exceeds the scope of my cross-examination and what.
She's
my
not
office-
limited by the scope of your.
Cross-examination is limited by the scope of my direct.
No, it's not, but I'll allow the questions. Thank you.
Do you recall the moment when my client's phone dropped?
I don't believe it dropped, ma'am.
What do you believe happened?
Sergeant Britton had to come and grab it out of his hand
Okay. And why did Sergeant Britton grab it out of his hand?
because he heard us ordering him to let go of the phone and he did not. And my arms were tied with holding his left arm and Officer Chittister was holding onto his right arm.
At what point did you decide that he was under arrest?
When he was resisting lawful order, ma'am.
And that was when you were trying to pull him out of the car?
Yes, ma'am. The audible signal and the lights indicating that he needed to pull off to the side of the road, using the PA on the vehicle to tell him to stop and pull over.
And when you say PA, what does that mean?
That is the PA, the announcement, the speaker on the car has 2 functions. One is the audible signal, which is the siren, And the other function is where I can have a microphone and be using it to make announcements or talk to somebody outside of the vehicle. I used it at least once, I believe twice, to tell the driver of the white car to stop and get off to the side of the road.
And this is why you were en route behind him?
I was behind him for the speeding, which he was failing to stop for. And then he refused to get out of the vehicle for a lawful order.
I'm trying to identify when you were on your PA, if you were.
While driving behind him.
While driving. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. I'm just going to confer with the client for a second. I have no further questions.
Ms. Halleck, anything further?
No.
Ms. Ives, any rebuttal?
No, Your Honor.
Argument, Ms. Halleck?
May the officer step down there.
Yes, thank you.
Your Honor, I believe the testimony here today has demonstrated that the defendant, in fact, committed at least one count, if not more, of resisting and obstructing against Officer Candoff when he refused to exit his vehicle. He was given lawful commands several times, according to the testimony, but yet remained in his vehicle. The testimony here today, although not originally on our complaint, does support at least one count of fleeing and eluding in the third degree. He was given several commands by way of the officer's audible signal. He indicated that he did use his patrol vehicle to announce and ask the defendant to pull over, that the vehicle did continue to proceed through several different neighborhoods and at a speed of at least 60 miles per hour in a zone where it was marked for 35 miles per hour. And we would ask that Your Honor bind over on those two felony counts, fleeing in the third degree, and one count of resisting and obstructing. Thank you.
Well, Your Honor, I don't believe that the resisting and obstructing charge has been met with regards to the evidence that's been presented. Clearly, there was, I think the court can find evidence that there possibly was fleeing and eluding in this case, but I do not believe that it would warrant a bind over on both counts. Thank you.
Fleeing and eluding comes in several different varieties. There it is. Fleeing and eluding in the third degree is that the defendant, the officer was in uniform in a marked vehicle. Defendant was driving a motor vehicle. The officer ordered the defendant to stop his vehicle. The defendant knew of the order. The defendant refused to obey the order by trying to flee or avoid being caught, and the incident resulted in a collision, or some portion of the violation took place in an area where the speed limit was 35 miles per hour or less. We don't actually have any testimony regarding that. Whatever fleeing took place on Hoffman Street from the light, from the stop sign at Portage to, just a minute, to M60, and then down M60 to parking lot. Part of M60 is 55, and the residential section of Hoffman from North Main to Portage is certainly 25. But I don't remember what the speed limit is from.
Your Honor, between Portage and M60 is 35.
Thank you. Proofs are closed. We can ask to reopen them. The testimony was the speed limit was 25, and I don't know what it was at that point, but I don't believe it's over. It's in the city of Three Rivers, so I don't believe it's over 35. So I guess I will allow it. Are you also going to ask to amend the drinking driving charge to high blood alcohol level?
Yes, Your Honor. We will request that.
That's a misdemeanor, but they should be put on notice.
Right. And I did just get those results in recently, so I had not had time to process that. And I think we will request that. Thank you.
All right. I made a finding that the speed limit was not over 35 miles per hour, knowing that it's in the residential area of Three Rivers. He wasn't going over 35 miles an hour, but it doesn't matter. It matters what the limit is in the area where the refusal to stop was. They're all part and parcel of the same thing. For resisting, so I do find there is sufficient evidence that meets the elements to a standard of probable cause for fleeing, eluding in the third degree. The resisting, obstructing an officer has different elements. To prove this charge, you must show that the defendant either assaulted, battered, wounded, resisted, obstructed, opposed, or endangered Officer Kendall. Obstruct means the use of threatened use of physical force or a knowing failure to comply with a lawful command. The defendant must have actually resisted by what he said he did, but physical violence is not necessary. Second, the defendant had reason to know or knew that the officer was a police officer. Here he's in a marked patrol car with lights and siren. Third, that the officer gave the defendant a lawful command, was making a lawful arrest, or was otherwise performing a lawful act. This was a traffic stop that turned into arguably a flee and elude, and then he refused to get out of the vehicle. And that meets the standard of probable cause for that charge as well. So the prosecutor can file an amended complaint alleging resisting and obstructing a police officer as count 1, fleeing and eluding in the third degree as count 2, and they have leave to amend the misdemeanor charge operating with a high blood alcohol level. Bond is set in the amount of $1,000. The defendant has posted his bond. He's been present for every proceeding. And matter is bound over to the circuit court for further proceedings on the amended complaint.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir.
I thought you might like this, but you probably won't take it. But the name's right here. I don't know how to really pronounce it, but it brought up the whole Three Rivers. It's old. It's real old. So you might like to read over that. And also, in there, the anomaly happened down here in 1932. Someone from Three Rivers was able to capture 7 moons and 7 suns aligned. That's a very beautiful anomaly that happened here in Three Rivers.
All right, thank you.
You welcome.
So you gave me a bunch of Three Rivers history.
Yep. There you go.
All right,
I already read over it. It's all right.
All right.
I'm not threatening you. Say one more word and that's 30 days. 30 days.